is how you make noodles. It's a lot of noodles. It's too much noodles. Let's get a little bit of noodle. 안녕하세요 from Korea. Welcome to Next Matchup. Today we're cooking Bibim Guksu. For our Bibim Guksu, we are going to take noodles and a secret ingredient. We're going to combine it with a beautiful tangy and spicy sauce. That's the Bibim part. Bibim means mix. So when you make Bibim Guksu, you've got to mix noodles with something, and that's the red sauce we're going to use. But what about the special ingredient? Well, it's right here. Check out this. If you've seen my channel before, you know I love this ingredient. It is stonecrop or dolnamu. And, well, it's got a beautiful crunchy texture, and that's going to go perfect with the noodles. For Bibim Guksu, you'll use cucumber a lot, but I'm going to use this instead. And it already goes well with the beautiful Bibim sauce that we're making. So it's a perfect combination. For the noodles, well, Old Faithful, we've got these buckwheat noodles or Memil Guksu. They've got a chewier texture to them and they're perfect for any cold noodle dish. Let's get started. Today I'm using stonecrop, but we usually would use cucumber. You want something crunchy with a bit of volume to it, and that's why stonecrop is so good as an alternative to cucumber. It's a succulent, so it's sort of like aloe. It's soft, a little bit crunchy, and there's sort of thickness to each little petal of it. These are my buckwheat noodles, and I absolutely love these ones. They are dry, so they're going to be cooked for a little bit longer. You can actually get buckwheat noodles that are pre-cooked a little bit, but they're almost like jelly, and they usually come in the packets that you buy at Korean supermarkets. I don't recommend those. Get them dry, and then just make sure you give them a good cook. Now here's our stonecrop. We need to prepare this with a little bit of water. So fill up your bowl, add your stonecrop in, and then add vinegar. Now we have to be careful when we wash stonecrop because stonecrop falls apart very easily. So each little petal will quickly fall off each stem. So put it in a bowl, throw in some of this vinegar, and we're going to let it sit for at least 10 minutes. Though of course for this, we can just let it sit while we prepare the other ingredients. Usually by the time everything's ready to go, we can drain the stonecrop and then give it a quick dry. Here's our red pepper paste. How much you use is up to you, but remember the red pepper paste is important because it'll give the sauce the thickness that you want. If you have too many liquid ingredients, it's going to be too runny. And that of course applies to your vinegar. So use a little less vinegar if you prefer a thicker sauce. I like my sauce to be a bit more runny, so I've added a little bit extra vinegar here. I also like vinegar, so that helps too. So once again, remember, less vinegar, more gochujang if you want a thicker sauce. I like this thickness though, this is perfect. And if you put it in the fridge, it'll like harden up a little bit too. Here's the seasoned seaweed. This part is so important. There's different ways to do this. You can actually buy sort of seaweed pieces, and those are delicious. I would use that, but if you have to use something, these are really good too. Just slice them up how you see fit. You could probably do it smaller than that if you wanted to. Then sesame seeds. You've got to have sesame seeds with this dish. It just goes so well. You can grind them if you want. You don't have to grind them. I like to have a little bit of powder in there, so I give it a light grind just like this, and then you've got a bit more of a powdery sort of consistency that's going to go on top of the dish later. So it's been about 10 minutes. I'm going to go drain this, and look at that. Now let's just let that sit and dry. It's still a little bit wet, so if I let it sit here while I prepare the noodles, I think by the time we're done, most of the moisture will have gone away. For the noodles, once again, we cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes. Depends. 3 minutes is actually long enough, and you'll get a very chewy and wonderfully tasting noodle, but that's not for everyone. So 3 to 4 minutes. If you're a little worried that the noodle feels like the consistency is a bit strange, go for 4 minutes then, and you'll find you'll get a perfect taste too. Yum. Look, these are ready. So I'm happy with that. And that's about 3.5 minutes for me. So we take these, get them in cold water as fast as possible, stop the cooking process, and then mix them and wash them. We're getting the starch off of this. All the starch, give it a nice good wash, get the starch into that water so that our noodles are not going to clump together in the bottom of the bowl when we eat them, and you'll just get a big giant thing of noodles. It's not very delicious when that happens. What we're going to do is plate this in two different ways today. The first is the one you're seeing on screen here. I'm going to take the dolnamu and put it on first and then cover it with sauce. As you can see, my sauce has thickened a little bit. I've placed it in the fridge and it's cooled down, and it's got this beautiful sort of, it's slowly, well, melting is not the right word, but it's slowly running down the side of my noodles. It looks so good. And then we'll add our sesame seed and the kim on top. That is absolutely perfect. So that looks beautiful. This is a very spicy dish, so if you're not a fan of spicy food, this might not be the one for you, but you can always try it and just adjust the amount of the spicy ingredients, like the red pepper paste and the red pepper flakes. In addition, you can add just a little bit less sauce to it, and that's what I've done when I prepared it for my wife. I put a little bit less sauce. She's not a big fan of spicy food, so just by adding a little less sauce, she enjoyed it. Now this is the second way I'm going to plate it, and I'm pouring the sauce on first. I just like the way it looks going over the noodles like that, almost like a volcano. There we go, bit of sesame. I really wasn't sure what to do with that, so I just put it on. And then I put the dolnamu over the top of everything. Not bad. I think there's sort of pros and cons to eating it this way. You can mix it in and make sure that, your dolnamu is not completely covered with sauce if you're not a fan of it. But on the other hand, I just don't think it looks as good. So I think for the thumbnail, we'll go with the first one. Let's see how this tastes. It looks great. Does it taste great? I think it does. Absolutely. Now it is spicy, so if you're not interested in spicy food, this definitely isn't the dish for you. But very delicious. Now, this is the one where I put the green one stuffed with dolnamu. I put it on top because the other one disappeared. My wife's eating that at the moment. This is my one. It's just as good. But as I always do, let's make it more delicious. Get all of this on there. Wow. I love the seaweed. These seaweed flakes are so good. And the rest of these sesame seeds. Oh. Oh, you've got to get a look at this. This is a masterpiece. Got to see this. That is how you make noodles. Let's see. Bibim, you've got to bibim. It's called Bibim Guksu, right? So you've got to mix it. Bibim is mix. Bibim means mix. Mixing is so important. Yes. Oh, my poor little things are getting crushed. It's a lot of noodles. Scary. There's too much noodles. Let's get a little bit of noodle. The green. Alright, that's what we're gonna eat. Oh. It doesn't take long to cook it, but when you're filming it takes a little longer, and I'm starving. This hits the spot. This is so good. That is exactly what I expected it would be like. These little things are like little freshness poppers. Oh, they go so perfectly with this. Yep, hot spring day. Crack this out. Nice glass of cold wine or beer or Fanta or something. It would be perfect. Hope you enjoyed the video. Every week I post a new Korean dish, so like and subscribe for more. And in the meantime, enjoy your cooking. 안녕히 계세요. Thanks for watching. Look at this. This is the best part of the dish. We mix it up. Oh, can you see that? Get it all. Diet food never tasted so good. Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. Welcome to Next Matchup, and today we are dieting in the kitchen with a cold noodle salad. Today it's the diet version of this dish because we've got all healthy things here. We have perilla oil, we have buckwheat noodles, and we have minari, sort of like a type of watercress. Take all these ingredients, put them together, and you're getting one of the best savory dishes. This is probably my absolute favorite Korean dish, and I can't wait to get started. I'm hungry, you might be hungry, so let's begin and get cooking. For this dish, you're going to need to use some minari. Now you can substitute it. Minari is a type of watercress, so substitute it with something that's green, crunchy, and flavorful. Now here's our Dulgireum. Dulgireum is perilla seed oil, and you can use chamgireum, which is sesame seed oil instead, but the flavors are different. And you must use buckwheat noodles. If you use other noodles, it's not the same. They're too thin and they'll sort of fall apart a little bit easier. Buckwheat noodles are sort of chewier, so they've got a different texture. Let's start by slicing up your minari into sort of the pieces that you want. Even looking at that now, I think I need to cut them more, so I got the scissors in there and gave them a good slice. The finer they're sliced up, just the easier it's going to be when you mix everything with the noodles. For our sauce that we're going to prepare for our minari, you can see the ingredients on, put those on and adjust to your own taste. A lot of people don't prefer the sugar, so just add a little bit less sugar to it if you don't really want that extra sweetness to it. The big one that is important is the vinegar. That vinegar is going to help because when we mix it with the other ingredients and the other things that we're going to prepare now, it goes really well with a little bit of vinegar flavor to it. For your buckwheat noodles, like I said, they're a little bit thicker, so cook them for about 4 minutes. Though after that time, you do want to get them into cold water and immediately stop the cooking process. You want these to be chewy and not too soft. The chewier they are, the better, without being undercooked. You don't want them to be crunchy. So make sure that they're sort of well washed as well, because we're also wanting to remove the starch. If you've watched any of my videos with these noodles, you know we want to get rid of the starch so that they're easier to eat and mix with the ingredients. For my one here, I'm only using a few noodles. I probably could have used a few more noodles here, and that goes better with the amount of sauce and ingredients I'm using. The noodles are a little bit wet. I've got a lot of liquid in there, but that's okay because I can put more noodles in later when I make some up for my wife. So I'm not too worried about that, but just adjust it depending on what you like. If it has a little bit of sauce on it though, that's fine. The flavor is still going to be great. This is dried seasoned seaweed, and it's a little bit salty. And it's delicious. This is the perfect savory kick. If you don't have access to this, you can get some gim packets, which are often used for having with rice, and slice those up finely. For the sesame seeds, I find it's good if you grind them up a little bit. You'll get a more powder sort of texture. It goes really well with the dish when everything is mixing together. And the final step, just an egg yolk. You can absolutely not add this, but this is a healthy diet dish, so a little bit extra protein won't hurt. Beautiful. Alright, let's eat this thing. Look at that. Oh, this is the best part of the dish. We mix it up. Oh, can you see that? Oh, look at that. Yes. Noodle salad, that's how you do it. Diet food never tasted so good. Taste of Korea. There's a reason this is my favorite dish. I could eat this all night. And I'm going to start by at least finishing this plate. Thanks for watching. Make this at home. It's a great diet dish. Has sugar in it. Just use less sugar if you're worried about how much sugar is in it. Use a little bit less and then you'll have a great time. Dulgireum, you can use, instead of Dulgireum, you're more than welcome to use chamgireum, but it's not going to be the same. Dulgireum has a very special taste, and if you've tasted it before, you know what I'm talking about. Hope you enjoyed the recipe. Watch my next video. Watch my past videos. Let me know what your favorite Korean dish is. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to Next Matchup. Today we're cooking kimbap using these Memil buckwheat noodles. Normally kimbap has rice, but this time we're going to take the rice and we're not going to use the rice. We're going to use these noodles. These noodles have a beautiful crunch, sort of chewy texture, and we're going to roll them up in the seaweed paper that we've got right here. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking one of my favorite dishes, which is that Makguksu or Dulgireum Makguksu, and we're going to remake it in the form of kimbap. So it's going to have all the same ingredients. You take something green like perilla leaves, you take your noodles, your Memil Guksu, a bit of Dulgireum and your seaweed there, but in this case we're wrapping it up like kimbap. So let's see how this goes. This is the first time I'm making it and I can't wait to try this out. Let's begin. The key to this dish are these buckwheat noodles or Memil. They're thicker and they're chewier. So when you're cooking them, you want to cook them for between 3 to 4 minutes. 3 minutes is the best sort of time to aim for because you don't want to overcook them. If you overcook them, they'll be too soft and they're not going to work very well as kimbap. You can always just taste it and see they should be a little bit chewy just before you take them out. At about that 3-minute mark and you'll be fine. So once they are done and you've checked them, what you can do is make sure we wash them. So get them off the boil, make sure they're not boiling, and get them into a thing of cold water. The colder the water, the better. You want to stop that cooking process and make sure they're not going soft and sort of mushy. Stir those up, get a lot of that sort of, you want to give it a good little bit of a mix here. Now you're not going to rub them as much as you would Memil noodles for other dishes because we want them to stick together a bit more. In other dishes you want them to move well and sort of get the sauce all mixed into it, but these ones they're okay like that. And we want some egg. We want our kimbap to have a little bit of egg in this dish, just to add a little bit of extra texture and flavor. The egg is absolutely optional though. Remember, this is a Memil noodle dish. The hero of the dish is the noodles. You don't have to do the egg, but I really like doing it this way and using these. So we're rolling it up. We just want it to be a little bit thick and sort of resemble almost a square or thick circle. So just add your egg a little bit at a time. Now this is quite a time intensive process, so you can skip that step if you really want. Now I'm not making an omelette, so this shouldn't be too thick, just a little bit of egg until it's basically looking like that. That's the perfect size. This is the sauce I'm going to add into the noodles. Now I've made a mistake here. I think I've put too little. I was really worried about it being liquid. I suggest using more than I'm using on screen here. So in the recipe, I think I say 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and a half tablespoon of sugar. I think you'll get a much better result if you do that. Maybe even a little bit more. So just base it on what you feel like. But definitely this was not enough. So add more than I'm adding here. Give it a good mix. Now they're not clumped together, I'm sort of making sure that I'm moving them apart, but if there's still a bit of starch, that's okay. It won't be a big issue, because we're also going to put some perilla oil. And once again, mix that in so that everything looks nice and glossy. There should be no liquid at the bottom of the bowl though, because if the noodles are wet, it's going to ruin the kimbap. That kimbap kim that I'm showing you right there, that seaweed will get soggy and it won't work. Make sure you use the shiny side on the outside, rough side on the inside. To help make sure that you're protecting that seaweed, put down a layer of perilla leaf or some kind of leaf, and then you can put the noodles on top of that. That'll make sure that the kimbap on the outside is staying nice and crispy and crunchy, or the kim, should I say, the seaweed. Perfect. There's that egg. I love the layers in this. I've just cut it in half. And I'm going to use half of this and half of the next one. Try to figure out where the middle's going to be. A little bit of water on the edge because that'll help it stick so that your kimbap holds its shape. Now rolling's up to you. There's a couple of different ways. You can roll it in one big circle. I'm going to do that first. Sort of take the edge and sort of push it in like this if you want to do that, and then really push it together so you get this one big round. That's one way to do it. There we go. Perfect. And I'll show you how to do it another way where you sort of just the more usual way. You just roll it up. That's much easier, but the result's going to be a little bit different. Depends on how you like your kimbap. So same again. And then this time when I roll it, I'm going to sort of roll it into the middle and then give it another roll. You'll get it, you'll find that it holds its shape a lot better, but it won't look as pretty. When you make normal kimbap, if you can do it in one big roll, it looks really pretty. It looks like one giant circle with a layer of rice around the outside. Quite beautiful. Perilla oil, you can use, instead of putting perilla oil on top, you can use sesame, but since this is a version of a makguksu that often uses Dulgireum perilla oil, what I'm going to do is use perilla oil on top. Whenever you're making kimbap, we usually do this step, and then we add some sesame seeds over the top as well. You want to add a fair few of these, maybe more than you normally would for kimbap, because once again, the dish is designed to be this way. Ooh, look at this, let's see. So the outside is still nice and crackly and crunchy, and then the inside is soft, but not too moist. Beautiful. Now, when you're cutting it, you'll find that you want to use obviously a fairly sharp knife. It's quite difficult cutting these little kimbaps, but you can play around with your design and sort of see what works for you and how you like to wrap it. Now, of course, one of the most important things with this dish is not how it looks, it's how it tastes. So, let's see how it tastes. Okay, let's try these things. They look okay and they definitely smell okay. Oh, beautiful Dulgireum. The perilla oil smells so good. Let's try. Those are definitely chewy noodles. Not bad, not bad. Though I will say I probably under-seasoned. I could put a little bit more soy sauce and some sugar in there. I used a little bit. I was worried that they'd be too messy or too wet, but I think I could definitely get away with putting a little bit more. The Dulgireum's good, but once again, the flavor is just not enough with that noodle. Usually when you have kimbap, you've got other ingredients inside. In this case, I just have the egg, so it could use a little bit more sort of salt and some soy sauce. Honestly, I might even put a little bit of maeshojang in there, so that's sort of a bit of plum juice, plum extract. I think that'd add a delicious flavor to it. So there you go. Not bad, and definitely tastes are all there. Just need to be a little bit stronger. All right, not a bad dish. Definitely fun for a first try. And look, they look great. Look at these things. They look perfect. Beautiful. And it was fun making the egg too. All right, I hope you enjoyed the recipe. Try it out at home. Remember, add a little bit more soy sauce if you want. Get a bit more flavor from those noodles. All right, thanks for watching, and 안녕히 계세요. See you next time. Look at that. You don't get much better than that. 안녕하세요 from Korea. Welcome to next matcha. If you love noodles, then you're gonna love this dish. We're cooking Memil Guksu. Basically, we're taking the buckwheat noodles. That's kind of like a myeon in Korean. We're gonna take those, we'll boil them, and they're gonna be a cold noodle dish. They're essentially soba noodles. To bring the flavor, we're gonna make a really delicious sauce. We're gonna make it all from scratch. It's gonna take a little bit of time to boil everything up, but the results are worth it. So I highly recommend you try this dish out. It's so good. Like I said, if you love noodles, you'll love this dish. Let's begin. How you garnish this dish is up to you, though I recommend things like cucumber and radish. You want something that's crunchy and fresh. That'll go really well with the sort of soy sauce-based sauce that we're going to make, which is inherently quite salty. Use a little bit of sauce, and then these delicious garnishes will have that perfect blend of crispiness and freshness that you want. And the pickled radish is important because a little bit of vinegar on there is going to help cut through that sort of saltiness of the sauce. It's just such a good combination. So definitely try and get some sort of pickled radish if you can. It also looks really nice, the little white ball that you make and put on top. Now we are going to use some vegetables to throw in our sauce. You're not going to keep these in the sauce because we're going to strain them. So just choose things you've got lying around. I've got green onions and I've got a lot of chives. You could also use onions, and I would have used onions, but I didn't have any available. So this is fine. Make sure you fry up your anchovies. You want to get rid of that sort of fishy sort of taste or smell to them. So give them a quick fry up first. And then lightly fry this. So turn the heat down a little bit when you're cooking these, and you want to sort of almost get some of the juices to come out of your onions and the vegetables that you're using for the sauce. Then throw everything in. Your soy sauce, your sugar, the rice wine, and a bit of water. Be careful with this. If you have too much sugar and not enough water, your dish will caramelize too quickly and you'll basically just end up with some sort of salty sugar. You don't want that. It'll be too thick and it'll actually burn and turn into a big mess. So basically be very careful. Make sure you've got more than enough water. You can always just cook it a little bit longer if you think that it's too runny. Start off with 15 minutes at a medium heat, and while it's doing that, you're going to slice up this. Let's get our pickled radish ready. We're going to slice this up because we want to get it nice and fine and then roll it up into a little ball, and that's just going to go into. Visually, it looks really nice, and honestly, you can skip this step. But like I said, try not to skip the radish because that radish is so good with this dish. Just slicing it up nice and thin so that you can essentially turn it all into. And look, I'm trying to figure that out. You just squeeze it. It's easy. That'll go perfectly on top. Excellent. Now, in our other pan, we've been cooking for about 15 minutes now. We're going to take out the dashima. You don't want that in your sauce. It'll overcook and turn everything into a mess. So take it out and then cook for 15 more minutes on a low heat. Like I said, you don't want it to get too thick. So look there, it's perfect. It's runny, it's black, but it's a little bit thicker than just soy sauce, essentially. And that's the consistency you want. If you feel like you put too much water in it, then just cook it for a little bit longer until some of the water is evaporated out of it. Strain everything off. And all that you're left with is our beautiful sauce. And that doesn't look like much, but that's enough for 2 or 3 dishes. You don't need much of this sauce to make a big impression. Perfect. Let's get these noodles ready while that cools down. The noodles should be cooked for about 3 minutes. If you cook them for 3 minutes, you will get a chewier texture. If you don't like that type of texture, you want it to be a little softer, then cook for 4 minutes. Just make sure that with buckwheat noodles, you don't want it to be overcooked because that's the whole purpose of using buckwheat noodles is they should be a little bit chewy. They're a bit thicker and they have a bit of consistency or texture to them. Throw them in our water because we want to cool them off, stop the cooking process, and then mix them around until most of the starch is off. I really like running them in this water. I find it gives a good result. It gets the starch off quite easily. Now dry them off, and they're basically ready to go, and we can start plating this dish. Now, do you put the sauce on the bottom first or do the noodles first? That's up to you. I went with the sauce on the bottom and then placed the noodles on top. A little bit easier, though it is hard to get the noodles on exactly. There's our cucumber, lots of cucumber on this. I like cucumber, you can put less. And it's a bit of seasoned seaweed. The seasoned seaweed is just a good little bit of crunchiness to it. So you've got 3 crunchy things and very fresh things, and then finally some chives over the top. I find this, number 1, I had chives left over. Number 2, they add a little bit extra freshness to the dish. It's perfect. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, this looks amazing. I can't wait to eat this. Look at that. Look at that. You don't get much better than that. That's beautiful, and I can't wait to eat it. All right, let's just get in there. The sauce is quite, it's got a bit of thickness to it. It's good, that's flavor. All right, let's eat it. Oh, gotta break this up. Oh, oh, this is beautiful. Oh, I should get a look at this. It's beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Oh. Oh. Mmm. Mmm. Perfect. It's not too salty and it's not too sweet. You gotta balance both of those things. If you overcook it, it'll be a little bit burnt. It'll also be too sticky. But if you undercook it, it'll be too runny and flavorless. It has to have that perfect flavor so that you only use a little bit of sauce and it goes a long way. That's the key to this dish. And then, of course, you've got to add in all the extras. That pickled radish is perfect for this because it cuts into that sort of little bit of saltiness that the dish has. A lot of flavors, and the vinegar flavor from those is so good. Mmm. That is an absolutely special dish. Try that out at home. Let me know how you go. Make sure you follow my tips though. It's very easy to mess this up. It's an easy dish, but it's also a dish you've got to be careful with. If you overcook it or undercook it, the flavors are all wrong. So try it out at home. Let me know how it goes. In the meantime, enjoy your cooking. Hope you check out some of my other videos. I've got some delicious other buckwheat noodle videos that I've done recently. Check those out, and 안녕히 Thanks for watching.